Okay, so I ordered a new mic. Well, I'm gonna order a new mic. Isn't these little Shrek hats so cute? My girl Ted's coming to get that tomorrow, so we keeping that on. Let me at least put it over here so it can look right. It'll be nice for the thumbnail. I gotta start working on making thumbnails. Y'all saw the intro. Y'all saw the intro. Hold on, before we get started. Trigger warning. I'm sorry, y'all. Hey, for those of you who are new here, I'm Auntie Harley. This is my weekly vlog, which is really just becoming a vent session. You know what I mean? Just me getting my shit off and having somewhere to like relook at my thought process as I'm getting through probably one of the hardest times in my motherfucking life, bitch. Um, so welcome on in, sit on down, watch the episodes before if something don't make sense to you. But anywho's, trigger warning. Today I will talk about self-harm. I would say that I'm not going to get super deep or go super dark, but I recognize that what I look at as not really super deep or super dark can be seen as dark by other people who have not been through some of the things that I have been through. So I am offering a trigger warning. I will speak about self-harm in this week's episode, and yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm not just tossing that in your lap without you knowing. So there we are. Quick update about how things have been going around the house. Honestly, things have been good. Things have been good. The team is back. The boys are both back in school from fall break. Uh, Holidays coming up. We'll have to be in. Um, I talked to y'all about going to a fashion show last weekend. Y'all, it wasn't even a fashion show. It was just a party. But it was a party full of very fashionable and beautiful ass people. So we still had a really great time. It was still really fun. Got a chance to show off my creation. I wore the cardigan that I wore to my cousin's wedding, to the fashion show. And I made these really cute pants where I used some fabric glue and I got some faux leaves and put them on the pants. It was super cute. I'm going to rewear them pants, but I'm going to take a shirt, one of my like tank tops, and I'm going to do the leaves all across the tank top. And I'm going to wear the pants one more time. Probably next fall, but maybe I might wear it again before the end of this fall. We just got to see what's going on with life, okay? But for sure, I'm wearing those pants again. The pants are super cute. I feel like the glue stuck really good. It rained that night, y'all, and everything worked out perfectly fine. So that was cool. I had a good time doing that. That's really the biggest like logistical update. So this weekend, at some point, I don't know if it was when was it. I don't know if it was Friday or Saturday. It might have been Friday. I asked myself this question, and then by Saturday, I was like, in such a great place. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I had to get the timeline together, y'all. My bad. So on Friday, I was in the shower, and I legitimately asked myself, not even from a place of like, I'm done with this or I'm upset, like, not from an emotional place, from a very like reactionary, I really want us to review everything that's going on. Let's reflect, reflective place. What am I doing here? Why am I here? And not just like here in this relationship. Why am I in this apartment? Why am I still in Chicago? Why am why am I in this stage of this life? So it's multiple tiers, but specifically I was asking myself, like, why am I engaging in this relationship with my partner and living in this space and continuing to move forward with this relationship? And I'll be honest, when I first started thinking about the answer to this question, I was spitballing a lot of frustration and anger and just the reality of the fucked up parts of this situation. Um, and in that moment, I felt like, damn, why am I here? Because I was listening to all of the bad. But and that's why I always go through my reflective moments. I just let all of my thoughts kind of happen. And I was observing the negative thoughts, but I noticed that even with how angry I am, like, I'm not gonna pretend not to be angry. Like, not to say that like I'm maliciously angry. I think there are different ways to be angry. I am angry with the circumstances that I find myself in life right now, not because it's anybody's fault, but because it was not what I wanted for myself. And so that anger, I feel inflamed when I ask myself that question. I literally was just like, well, I don't know. And da 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 da. But there were so many moments as I started to go deeper into my bag, trying to pull out as many negative things as I could to say about the situation, where I couldn't deny the positivity and the reason that I continue to hold on to this love. Like, I think about my partner, I think about my man, and I think about how, even though I complain about it, and you know how sometimes you complain about something that you really don't have a problem with. So I used to wear not a whole lot of makeup. I was never a big makeup girl, but I would, sometimes, and I still do, depending on what's going on, wear foundation. And I'll do it like a soft beat on my face. Now, if I go out, if I'm about to be on camera, if I know I'm about to, kind of be amongst the people, I'm absolutely gonna put, some concealer under these eyes. I'm gonna lighten this up, some glitter, especially if I'm dressing up. I'm gonna do something to my face to make the face match the outfit. But I used to just every other day almost do a quick beat on my face. I can't no more these days because out of nowhere, if we're together, we by ourselves, if we in a group of people, if we're around a crowd of people, my man will just grab me, lick my face, hug me, kiss me, tell me how much he love me. That level of affection, that level of love, that level of just, I don't know. And I think it's the intimacy. The intimacy of no matter where we are, what we're doing, this man loves me out loud, and he loves me consistently out loud. That was one of the reasons that I found to stay, even when I was trying to find a lot of reasons not to want to stay, right? I was mad at the beginning of asking myself this question. And I was just like, spitballing as many negative things as I could. There was still a voice in me that could not deny the fact that, like, I literally hear and feel this man hugging me, kissing me, and loving on me in my sleep. And I'm talking about telling me how beautiful I am, telling me how proud he is of me, telling me that he knows how hard I work. Sometimes I don't even know if he think that I be awake still, because I be like falling asleep. But I guess he feel, my body might feel like I'm asleep. And this man just pours into me. You're so beautiful. You're so amazing. You're so talented. I love to hear people talk about you. You make me so proud to be your man. He even takes a certain accountability when I'm asleep, and he takes it while I'm awake too, before somebody get in the comments or somebody text me and be like, but do he say it out loud when you awake? Yes, bitch. Okay. But no, seriously, I listen to this man tell it, because I don't get me wrong, it's not that it don't mean nothing in your face, right? But people can tell you shit in your face because they want it to sound nice. I used to be a person who would tell people things because I wanted it to sound nice. But when a person can speak life and take a certain level of accountability with you, when they, not to say they don't have to, but you're asleep, for me, that just feels so intimate and beautiful. And I've experienced it on multiple levels and multiple stages of this relationship where things were going really great. And he was just like, I love seeing the smile on your face. I love how happy you are. And when things are not great, like, when I'm asleep some of these days, I hear him pouring into me. I know you work so hard. I know you do so much for us. I'm working hard to try to find, work. And he really, truly is. This economy is crazy. And honestly, I believe that one of the places that he went to, because he had a second interview with them, I feel like that's going to be the one. It's local, great benefits, great pay. I'm definitely praying for that, because I feel like we deserve it. I feel like we've tucked our head. We've held ourselves down. I've held him down. He's held me down when I was able to speak up about it. And that's what I want to talk about today. But let me not get ahead of myself. So I think about the beautiful things that he does for me and to me, intimate wise. And then I think about my lowest moment in my life. Miscarrying a child and feeling the need to self-harm because that's the only way for me to decompress. A lot of my life, I've spent my life being excellent. I get straight A's. I'm usually the top of my class. If I participate in something, I'm usually the top performing in it. people look at people like me and they go, "Oh, you're so lucky," Britney Spears, she's so lucky. She's a star, but she cries in the... I'm sorry. Anyways, but for real, like, when I heard the song Lucky, or Superstar, I think that's what it's called, like, that song makes me feel like myself. It reminds me of myself. And any talented person like the Britney Spears, the Harley Hendricks, is like, I'm not going to pretend like I don't belong in the conversations with some of the most talented people in this world, because I am. But I say that to say, like, a lot of what a lot of people envy about me, a lot of people want a part of, a lot of the light that people see on me is actually discipline and hard work. And a lot of times that hard work comes with a lot of tears. A lot of times that hard work comes with a lot of pressure. I put pressure on myself because I need to show up into a word a certain type of way. And the only way I can show up into the word that type of way is if I have intrinsic motivation. And that motivation comes from putting pressure on myself. And sometimes when I feel too much pressure, I cannot do anything about it. And I found at a very young age that slicing into my skin actually helps me breathe. I am fully aware that is not healthy. And I have not self-harmed, proudly have not self-harmed in 4 years. I haven't self-harmed since my sister died. And I was very close in a lot of situations in these last 4 years because a lot of things have happened to me that have really hurt me, but I haven't, and I'm super proud of myself. But there was a time in my life, and if you're watching this and that time is still now in your life, I just want you to know, like, you don't need to do that. There are so many other outlets. And I didn't come here to talk nobody off a ledge, but I would be a liar and I would not be authentic if I didn't tell you that my life is so much better now that there are not all of the memories of all the stress I feel in a week on my arms anymore. And after losing our baby, I went into the room that is now the teen's bedroom, but at that time was my office in our house. And I was going to town on my arm. And I remember him coming into the room, and I remember the look on his face. It was like helpless and like hurt and like wounded. But he didn't look away from me. A lot of people who see that darker side of me, who see that unpolished side of me, who see that unbuttoned up side of me, they immediately run because I am so intentionally adequate and appropriate. I say the right things. I do the right things. I speak when I'm supposed to. I don't when I'm not supposed to. But my home has always been a place where I can, like, be clumsy and messy and wrong and awkward. And this person, while I have been here through his shit, so we're not taking away from his shit. We're not just talking about him right now. He's been here through my shit. And y'all see such a great side of me that y'all don't recognize that, like, I'm not well in the head. I have completely trashed this apartment on more than one occasion. And just like a manic fit. And this man, the man who I love, never said a word. Just put things back together. And I know from a distance, because if I was watching my shit, I'd be like, girl, y'all trauma bonding. And maybe. I don't think that anybody that comes from an inner city or a hood or, a ghetto can really escape trauma bonding. We lived traumatic lives. If you're Black in America, I don't give a fuck where you were born and raised. You've lived a traumatic life. And so if you're Black and you want to date Black, then you literally are looking to trauma bond before y'all get up in there and be like, this is trauma bonding. Tell me you're trauma bonding without telling you. I'll directly tell you. I am trauma bonding, but I'm trauma bonding with somebody who is actively working on his trauma as I actively work on my trauma, and we are getting through this together in a way that makes me say, this is why I stay. Recanting every moment in my life in these last 6 years where he was the only person that I could call and just feel safe with made me fall in love again. And it reminded me why I stay. But also, the negative parts of it gave me some things to hold myself accountable for and some things to take forward. And I'm going to tell y'all because it's going to put it on record and it's going to hold me accountable. The first thing that I got to take forward is I got to stop thinking that I'm the only person whose happiness matters in this relationship. That's the first thing. I got to realize that even though I'm nervous and I'm scared and I'm going through because I've never had a kid before, I've never did this, I've never did that, I've never. He's never been a full-time dad before. He's never been a steady man in a monogamous relationship either before. He's never had to deal with taking care of a household before. So both of y'all are learning. That's the first thing I have to keep reminding myself. Both of us are learning. The second thing that I have to do, though, that helps me, that first thing really helps him. It gives me opportunity to be more gracious with him. The thing that I have to do to help me is I got to stop pretending like shit don't bother me. That's twofold. First, I got to stop pretending that shit don't bother me. And the second thing that I have to do is I got to stop making life easier for him as if he's not realistically making life harder for me. Now, let's talk about this. Let's break this down. I'm going to start with the first one. With the first one, I got to stop acting like shit don't bother me. I realize that I've never lived with somebody. So I've never had the need to want to be brutally honest with a man and tell him when his actions bother me, because I could just go home and cry and scream and get it out, because I've always lived by myself. Since I turned 18, I moved out of my mama's house full of fucking people. And I moved into my own house because I've always wanted a place to decompress. I truly don't believe that people need to hear me when I'm mad at them, because I feel like all they're going to do is invalidate how I feel. And I don't want to feel that. So I usually prefer to vent by myself. Like doing this right now, what I'm doing with y'all, is the best thing for me, because I like to vent like this. And I like to look at myself. I don't even like to look at nobody else when I'm going through it. I'm a self-centered bitch. Another episode. Anyways. So I realized that in this relationship, I've been trying to be like, it's okay, because I could decompress when nobody's here. Well, baby girl, there might be a chance that you might get to a place where there's never not nobody here, or you're always with somebody. So you got to start saying like, no, this shit bother me. Actually, I need some time. I need you to get away from me. I need you to give me some break. I need you to give me some air. You got to be authentic. And I'm used to not being authentic because I'm used to being agreeable. And in order to be agreeable, you can't be authentic, because authenticity is not always in agreement. Sometimes I don't fuck with what you're doing. And I got to be honest about that. The second thing is I got to stop making life easier for him as if he is not realistically making life harder for me. This one was hard for me because it made me kind of feel guilty. But here we go. We're going to work through it. Realistically speaking, even though we would have thought in a million years what's happening is happening in our life, he should be ready for anything because he's a grown-ass man who created 2 lives. His negligence and his immaturity brought us to the space that we're at right now. Whether we want to talk about how much will he meant, how the black system and the black daddies ain't there, he ain't got nobody showing him how to be a man, all of that shit considered, he is still making life hard for me because I had my shit together and he didn't. I have to say that I'm going to give him grace. That's why I'm here and I'm on it and I'm with you. But I'm not about to hold your hand through your part. You grown. Like, for instance, tonight, right now, while I'm doing this vlog, he's out doing DoorDash. He wanted me to dash with him because me being in the car makes life easier for him. We're going to go over 20 minutes, by the way, y'all. He don't gotta find a good parking spot. He don't gotta turn the car off. He could just park right up front, because if somebody come and tell us to move, I'm in the car. I can move the car, making life easier for him. He can get more dashes done, etc. But not only does that not make life easy for me, that doesn't consider the fact that I've worked a full day. So my point to myself is, do not make life easier for him right now in the season where he is actively making life harder for you. Until he is able to get the things that he wants to get, to be able to put it more into this household, it makes life harder for me, because I'm trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. I'm every once in a while, as I'm making people stuff, I'm thinking to myself what I need to do with the money for them. I got a friend who still ain't asking me about a bag that I made him, and I need the money from this bag to the point that I'm about to put his bag back on the internet for sale. And I know that's shysty as fuck, because it can't just sit here. But that's just how inconveniencing my life is, that my hobby that I really want to just be my love, that still brings me money, is a necessity now. So actually, no, I can't DoorDash with you tonight. I understand that would make life easier for you, but you have to deal with the hard. You're going to have to find parking. You're going to have to pull it. And it's not even that he don't want to do it, right? Of course he's going to do it. He's out there doing it. But of course he's going to make the attempt to see if, okay, maybe I can get the help. Maybe I can get the assistance. And as a woman, I have been trying to do a whole bunch of saying yes, 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 yes. But the reality of the situation is sometimes I need to say no. I'm going to stay home, watch TV, and watch my own TV shows, and I'm going to get my own space. Like right now, I'm doing my own space. I'm able to do my vlog. I can't do this level of vlog with him sitting right there. Might as well, and I did have a conversation with him, but I might as well have him on camera, and we had a conversation on live, which I don't like doing, because once you put the camera on him, the boy act like he ain't got no charisma, even though he's one of the most charismatic people I've ever met. But, you know, and the final thing that I took out of that is, you got to keep dancing and going out and enjoying yourself and feeding yourself, girl. I started to get stressed out. I started to feel like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do that. And I started to take from myself and take from myself and take from myself. And nobody asked me to do it. So while I can hold him accountable for the things that he did that we cannot refute, I also cannot pretend that I did not create a more dramatic situation than needed to be there. And if I can come off from my drama and give a little bit of grace, he's going to be able to take accountability, do the things that he needs to do. And we might meet each other at the middle and have a beautiful fucking relationship. And I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think that man wants to leave me, and I don't want to leave him. But I also don't want to compromise my life and my lifestyle. I want to live the lifestyle that I want to live, which is a pretty affluent lifestyle. And like I told him, the only way that you are not a part of that lifestyle is if you show me you don't want to be. And you show me you don't want to be by, doing certain things, putting certain attributes out there. Those attributes were out there before his kid got here. I believe that the kid coming woke him up, culture shock, maybe even just life. Maybe he just had a moment. Maybe he was going through something. I don't know. But I'm grateful that he's back on track. I hope that he remains on track. And I just want to keep growing and glowing with this person, because he is amazing and he makes me happy. But I also had to step back and ask myself, am I making me happy? And to be honest, I wasn't. I was leaning into him for a lot of my happiness. And when he dropped the ball, I was walking around this bitch unhappy. Nah, I'm going to be happy regardless. But you're not going to be in my life if you're not contributing to my happiness. And because he is, I'm going to provide grace for the things that he is lacking, because I even watch those things grow. I'm watching this man grow up before my eyes as I grow up before his eyes, because I got a lot of immature ways too. What was the fucking point of dating a man with kids if you never thought of the possibilities of him having to have one of them kids full time? Also, what is the point of you walking around all day screaming and hollering boys to be with their father if you're going to catch your attitude whenever you know your stepson's on the way at the house? Either you want this life or you don't. And if you don't, get off the ride, Miss Mamas. And that is where I'm at with myself, holding myself accountable. And now I have to recognize that I got to get more vocal and holding him accountable. Baby, that don't work for me. Like tonight, baby, I'd rather not. I'm going to stay home. I'm going to do my vlog. I'm going to enjoy some alone time. Shit, like I told y'all a few episodes ago, again, excuse the overshare, I like to masturbate. After I'm done talking to y'all, baby, I'm finna give me a nice little shower. I'm finna do me a little 1-2 by myself. And that don't mean that I don't do a little 1-2 with him. But I like my time, and this is my time, and I'm grateful for my time. I know he's gonna be gone for about the next hour or so, so I get a chance to have a nice long shower, just a nice relaxing evening for myself with myself, and I am grateful to have that. I thank y'all. I thank y'all for this space. Those of you who sit and watch me, I thank y'all for those of you who support me, who share my content, all of that. I know that I'm headed somewhere between crochet and my charisma and deciding that I'm going to get back performing. I'll talk to y'all a little bit about that next week. I feel like I'm gonna call next week's episode like Mind of a Maniac, because we got to, I want to dive into my head, y'all, and I want to take y'all on the journey with me. But I know that I'm headed somewhere. And I now just have to keep reminding myself that that destination is not negotiable. The passengers that are along the ride for that destination is, and that includes family. That's not just pointed at him. That's not a straight just for him. That's a straight for anybody. Because I know what I want. I know what I've been dreaming about since I was a little girl. And I'm going to have it. And that's on period. Also, today, 5 years ago, I started calling myself Harley Hendrix. And so that actually is super dope. And so I wanted to put that out there. Happy anniversary to this beautiful persona that I have created. And she literally is just Rika, my authentic myself, authentified. I feel like Rika had a reputation of pristine and agreeable. And Harley tells Rika to say all the things that's in her head. And so it's still Rika. It's just very unfiltered. And I'm fucking with it all the way. I thank y'all for saying the extra 10 minutes because I had to get that out. I stay because I am wanted here. I stay because I am loved here. I stay because I am supported here. And I stay because I am considered here. A lot of women are in relationships where they are not considered. And I ain't worried about them. But I am grateful that I am considered, and I am watching a human being grow with me, and I don't want to turn away from that. I love y'all. I thank y'all. Order you a Shrek hat or like 3 or 4, bitch, because like I said, I could use the money. Okay. See y'all next week.